Okay, welcome back to part 2 of this video, which is our online facilitation. Part 1, you should have watched a video about the pre-class that we have talked about communication, practice, how you set up your space through good lighting, technology, background appearance. So now we're going to focus on the second part of this video, which is in class. How do we set the tone, welcome the students, and different tricks that we can do during class, in class, engage our audience. Okay, so in class, how do we set the tone for the class before the class starts? Now, first of all, setting up the room is very important. The day before, you should go to your link and start practicing setting up the room. For example, setting up the polls. For example, if you want to use a poll and check any whiteboards, how to share videos, click on the share video, computer sound. Practice to share your screen if you wish to do more of these features. So you would want to practice all these things before the day before, a few days before the actual class start. And usually I would sign in 30 to 45 minutes earlier before class to make sure everything is ready to go and wait for the students to arrive. Do not just sign in 10 minutes earlier and then you're freaking out and you don't know, oh, what, and you're not prepared and you don't know where to share the screen so you're trying to resolve and your mic is not working, all the technical problems, you couldn't sign in. So you're trying to reduce anxiety by going in earlier, 30 to 45 minutes earlier before your students arrive, so that you can sort it out, make sure your links work, everything works, your polls working, anything you're trying to do is working. Another thing, 10 to 15 minutes beforehand. So let me ask you a question. When does a class start? When does a class start? Now, you're probably thinking, oh, usually a Bible study starts at 11, let's say in the morning. If it starts at 11 morning, then my class starts when 11 o'clock it starts. Actually, the actual class start is when the first student arrives to your Zoom room. What do you mean by that? Why? Because once the student arrives, you want to start engaging with them, okay? Instead of, scrambling and preparing your notes, you want to start building connection when the first student arrives at your scene, at the screen, okay? So 10 to 15 minutes earlier, you may have students start signing in. So as soon as the first student signs in, you have to start engaging with that student. And you will start to talking to individuals, solve a rapport. And you might have some screen where you will ask people to start sharing maybe an icebreaker or something, that icebreaker questions that you want people to type in the chat. If this is your first group, you might want to ask people, where are you from and how many kids or why are you here, that kind of thing. So you wanted to set the tone for some icebreaker at the beginning. So I'll show you a picture in a minute. What do I mean by that? So this is the picture. Sometimes when I have a workshop or even before my Bible study, I will have something like this beforehand. So when they start signing in earlier, you can either talk to them or you can ask them to, enter their information in the chat so you can get to start knowing, knowing your audience. So even you sign it earlier, there are other options that you can do, which is one thing you can do, play music beforehand. I know some of you might have already done it. You learn you play music on the audios, or you set up some themes. Maybe this week you want everybody to feel like they're in a cafe or different theme. Then you might want to set up your screen setting like that. So I'm going to show you in a minute, and it's, to be honest with you, I love the Zoom online setting. There's so much you can do because it costs you nothing to prepare to decorate your room. It's very awesome. So let me show you a few things that I've done before. One time I wanted to be more like a cafe style. So this one, I want it to be more like a cafe style. I want people to sign in and feel, very relaxing, like a coffee shop kind of thing. So the next one that I've done is I want to describe the dream vacation. Let's say they sign in and right away they see this. Oh, the icebreaker question is, where is one place you want to be if you could be any place in the world? So it's a great icebreaker. Another one is, if you have a birthday party, you can do something like this totally. Or if you're teaching Nehemiah, for example, a Bible study on a certain topic, right? So I went on to search for any song that will kind of bring back that memory. And I asked people to start meditating as they are waiting for the actual Bible study to start. So you can see here, I put my verses here before I lead the session and let them start meditating on the words. So another way we have done before, this one is myself and my husband, we did a marriage course for our seminary. So we run a marriage course for couples to rebuild their relationship, and especially the one that we run, we cater to the ministry couples, but also couples who marry either a short time or long time. So this is a setting that we have. On our last class, we want to set up like a cafe style. So this is our office here actually, and then we just set up a room, set up a table as if we're in a cafe. So there's a lot of varieties that you can do to create a space that set up the setting that when they come, they feel surprised and feel very engaged, very interesting, right? Also, another thing that you want to consider, which is very, very important, is when people start coming into your class, to your online setting, you want to welcome every student by name. You want to welcome every student by name. The reason is being in an online setting is a very isolated feeling sometimes. So without saying hi to your student, they would feel, you don't even care if I come or not. You know, that feeling of being isolated is very cold already in an online setting. So we have to be very intentional to, invest in pay attention to when the learners start coming in. So I think one thing is very helpful is greet them by names. Greet each of your students by name. Once they sign in, you greet them by name and have some small talk with them. How are you? How are you doing? So acknowledge their presence. And that is a very important thing we need to do before even the class starts. Another thing is, I think is very helpful is something I call Zoom or video conference etiquette. You might have some ground rules in place so that, people, when they come to your sessions, they feel engaged. Maybe 10 to 15 minutes earlier, you want people to sign in, and you might want everybody to on the videos. If they're not distracting doing other things, you want it on the whole time, because I think honestly, as a facilitator, it's very discouraging. Have so many videos off. You feel like you're talking to the wall. So you might want to communicate at the beginning. Tell people to have the video on so that you can have engaging conversation and learning time together. And maybe you want to ask them to feel free to jump in anytime, or you want to tell them in advance if some of people in your group are very talkative. You want to warn them beforehand. We're trying to set a ground rules that everybody will just spend 3 minutes in the sharing, and so we can guarantee everyone will have a chance to share. Mute yourself if you're not speaking, or use an earpiece when you're talking. Silence personal devices. Avoid any distracting activities to the group. So the rules, you can set up any rules you want that is helpful to your group. So here are just some of the suggestions. Another thing is very helpful is before we actually start the content, the icebreaker, I think is one of the things that is most important to engage your audience. But I just want you to know that what is the purpose of an icebreaker? Let me ask you a question. What is the purpose of an icebreaker? Now, we don't want just to play a game, just random game, silly game, so that, that people are happy. There's a reason why we need to do the icebreaker. And I love how one person said it. Connect before content. Connect before the content. So you want to connect with your audience before the content. And this is very, very, very crucial. I hope that you can think ahead. What is one icebreaker I can do? And if you come to this workshop, I will send you a list of the icebreaker materials that I've been collecting over time that will be very helpful to you. So here are some of the other ideas, and I think especially if you are in a new groups, especially important for you to get to know each other first. The first few classes, I would say, is most crucial. You need to spend more time in icebreaking and getting to know each other, because I think without that, the group would become very cold and unrelational. And you need to invest in the icebreaker time to get to know each other. So something that you can do, a quick one, maybe use an adjective to describe yourself. Joyful Josephine. I'll tell 3 fun facts about themselves. Use one word to describe your life or feeling right now, so you can get a taste of where everybody's at. Use polling and Zoom meeting, Zoom setting. You can use polling. Or other games idea, throw a ball, an invisible ball. Maybe you ask a question instead of you pick the next person, then you say, I'm throwing an invisible ball to you and Patrick. So now Patrick pass it to Linda. Or he can choose, or she can choose if Linda wants to choose to throw it to anyone else. So it really, so you put you let the learners to actually choose who would answer the question next. 2 choose 1 lie, which we most of us knows about this. Would you rather? Or search any online games that icebreaker that will help, not just any random games, but something that will help people to get to know each other, to connect before the content. I will also give you my resource list, and you probably have it by now. If not, I will send it to you after the training.